Okay, this should be an easy one. So, basically that being said, I thought I'd heard it all from teaching scuba diving, but I actually still get asked some weird questions that actually take me by surprise. So today we are going to be delving into Google's People Also Ask section and see how deep the rabbit hole really goes when we type in the word scuba. And we did just that. We typed in the word scuba and a few other related terms to see what people also ask, and we kind of cherry picked the weirdest questions that we came across. And even though they're probably, answered if you actually click on those questions on Google, I'm actually going to answer them here now because Google has been wrong before, and believe it or not, there are not or there are plenty of mistruths out there on the internet. So let's take a look at some dumb questions on Google. Step by step, okay, so you assemble your gear, you put it on, you get into the water, and then you swim around. That's about it. There is a lot more to it when you actually go diving, but you learn all of these skills in your first scuba course. So really, your very first step is to find your local dive center and, talk with them. I mean, they'll run you through how the equipment works and what to do when. There's no real sort of shortcuts or learning how to scuba from a website, so just go talk to your local dive center. Just like you normally do on the surface, only you breathe in and out through your mouth. Your nose is actually completely covered up by your mask so that you can clear your mask at depth. But other than that, the cylinders that we bring down with us contain plenty of compressed gas inside. When we inhale, our regulator releases a little bit of that gas, and when we exhale, it just sort of bubbles out and heads to the surface. That's it, really. Yeah, you breathe. You're actually never told not to breathe, the exact opposite in fact. As gas goes up through water, the volume actually changes, so it's actually very important to always breathe normally as you would on the surface, so the change in volume doesn't affect your lungs. But more on this in the next question. But you can hurt your lungs whilst diving if you hold your breath and ascend. So gas expands when it comes up from depth, so you need to allow that expanding gas to escape. All you need to do from stop from damaging your lungs is to just breathe normally and ascend slowly. No. Diving alone is actually discouraged because it's better to have a second diver with you should anything go wrong. So PADI Open Water is the very first qualification in the PADI training agency's courses, their kind of skill tree. There are other training agencies out there, obviously, other than PADI, but at the open water level, the very beginner level, you are certainly not qualified to dive alone all by yourself. There are courses about diving solo, but even most divers who actually hold this qualification still dive in buddy pairs or teams for safety. Not really. Sharks are just large fish, and like most fish, they'll just swim away from you. So they don't really know what you are, and you certainly don't look like their usual food stuff, so it's very unlikely that a shark will actually attack you. So from the shark's perspective, you could be dangerous to them, and of course they don't like the bubbles that we breathe neither, so they just tend to stay well away from us.
Lies. Every shark sees us as a nice, tasty snack.
And they're just out to get us.
Yes.
Like in the shallows.
Exactly.
And 47 meters down.
Yeah.
And Jaws.
Yeah. And Jaws 2. And Jaws 3. And Jaws 4.
Not much. Carbs are important, so you have a good amount of energy for the entire dive, but you don't want to eat too much bulk because you're going to be laid flat for about an hour or so you don't want that food to come back up. So keep it simple, nothing too greasy, and get some calories in because you're going to be moving through the water and burning calories in the water as well. Most places are fine, but I'd avoid near, naval shipyards and similar areas. Most places are actually fine, but of course do your research first. See if anyone actually owns the area and if there are any local laws that you need to be aware of. Some areas are off limits to basically be shelters for marine life, so you either can't go in them whatsoever, or sometimes you have to pay a fee to actually enter that area. Wherever you do decide to go, just let someone else know where you're going to be diving and when you should be back. Yes and no. You can go scuba diving, but only with a professional level diver. So part of your very first qualification will be some kind of swimming test, and if you can't pass that, then you can't go diving by yourself. You can only dive with a professional level diver. If you want to go scuba diving, then it's probably best to get your swimming lessons first. There's no specific depth where diving becomes dangerous. Many incidents actually occur just on the surface. So the closest thing to a specific depth may be 30 meters, which is widely recognized as the recreational limit. Deeper than that, and you should really have more advanced training and use advanced techniques. Yes. The scuba record stands right now at 232 meters, so 47 meters isn't that deep. So 47 most likely refers to that atrocious movie that shall not be named, that is full of inaccuracies. But the most dangerous aspect of being 47 meters down is the likelihood of nitrogen narcosis and your increased breathing rate. So there were some dumb ones in there, but actually the Google bot seems to be pretty good at asking, sensible scuba diving questions. We had to filter through quite a few actual legitimate questions to find these ones. One silly question that I missed was, how much money does a dive master make? Don't be silly, we don't pay dive masters. They just live off our appreciation and diving knowledge passed down. They don't actually need money, dive masters just go back in their box after we're done with them. Anyway, what is the dumbest question you've ever been asked about scuba diving? Sharks tends to be the biggest subject for me when people ask me about diving, outside of gear questions. I do get some dumb questions about gear sometimes. Anyway, thank you for watching, and of course, safe diving. Not really. Sharks. I'm looking at Sean, thinking about sharks. We are an online dive store serving the UK and the world for all your diving equipment needs. So why not visit us at simplyscuba.com or click the box on your screen.